hard not to have an F, but not to have any Fs. Okay.
You know, I
was a good CD student.
Yeah, and you know, I can tell that about you now. You know, you got that part about you. I mean, you're really. I mean, you do think about that. I have education, and I share it. I call you sometimes, and I'm full of useless education, useless facts. Is what I'm full of.
Facts, right.
You know, I mean, you know, like, you know, what's the biggest peanut butter sandwich in the world?
Right.
Things like
Yeah.
that. But I mean, other stuff. A lot of times, I learn stuff as I go along.
Right.
I had to see it.
Yeah.
You know, I have to see it. I can remember stuff. I know where I can look in this place over a studio, and I can tell you where the wires are. I can tell you what's here. I can tell you what's there, and I can see it all. I can flip through the pages in my head.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm a slow reader. I'm a very slow reader. Yeah. I just am. And Janice can sit down and she says, I believe I'll just read the Bible today. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm a slow reader. I just read real slow. Caleb reads, man, thousands of pages he reads and goes through that stuff. And John Colson's coming up reading. He can read already at 5 years old. He'll read and sound stuff out. And I admire that. And I see. But the whole culture seems different nowadays when we talk about memories in school and things like that. There's a different culture. And that's what we're talking about here when we're talking about bullying.
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes it works against them because it's easy for people to be so sensitive.
Right.
You know, there's a difference in attitude when you're saying, you know, you can say what you want about me, but you better shut your mouth.
Right.
Okay? Instead of saying, what you know what they said about me, okay? I mean, this is a real world, okay? Right. Now we can't. I don't think we can fight it. We don't have long enough left in this world to fight it.
Right.
But I mean, and I know it's real because there's things that we went through in our life. If we think back on them, that bullied us and hurt us emotionally.
Right.
Me.
Yeah.
And I know you probably too.
Yes. Right.
There's things that hurt us emotionally and make us think, well, you know, I don't know, you know, and it broke your heart, it made you feel bad.
Right.
And things that people thought about you or didn't think about you. And that's all real stuff. I mean, looking back, we forget, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I think about
if you
that.
grow, as you grow, you know, that's what makes you forget that. You know, that's what makes you forget. Hopefully, you know, some people stay stuck in it. How about that? And then they breed and they produce something that does the same thing, right? You know, that's why we have some of these people, some of this stuff we have to deal with today in this society that we're in, this culture that's around us. There's people that never got over it. Yeah. And so then they produce someone. And
you know, let's talk about that. When you talk about never getting over things, I think there's a challenge. Let's just deal a little deeper. We're talking about if somebody dies that you love. Okay? Husband, wife, son, daughter, mother, father, whatever.
Right.
I mean, you know, there's a challenge in that.
Yes.
Now, I believe this, and I've talked to people before that have lost loved ones, and we both lost people we love. Time will do some things that nothing else will. I know that's a simple saying, but it'll make a good tattoo. Because time will do some things.
Right.
I mean, my dad, it's been 3 years, okay? Right. I mean, you know, time, you know, don't mean you don't miss him. I still got his voicemails on my cell phone, okay? And I can't listen to them, but I got them there. Right. But there's a point that time will. But I think it's important that we know, and God, and everybody's different. Okay, we deal with things different, but you got to move on in your life if you're not careful. But to lose a child, I mean, it has to be traumatic.
I can't imagine.
I mean, I can't even imagine. And it's easy to tell people they should get over that, but I would never. Right. I would never tell somebody they should get over it.
And too, I think that's one thing I don't think you can say to someone that you need to, you know, I don't think you can do that. I don't personally. I don't believe. You know, I mean,
don't believe so either.
I mean, I still miss my grandmother. You know, and she passed away when I was 13. Yeah. You know, almost 50 years ago now, 40-some years ago. You know, so I still miss her. You know, so you don't. Those aren't things you're supposed to get over. Right. You know. We won't even talk about losing a child.
Let's think about our grandmother, Pearl Hicks Dash.
Right.
Thrifty woman.
Frugal.
Yeah, frugal.
She
had they didn't call them thrift stores, they called them rummage sales.
She had rummage.
She had she was a pioneer in the rummage sale business.
Yes.
And I remember she'd take that masking tape, and write them prices and put it right on the clothes and have them all hanging up, sell all kinds of stuff. Had a little place over at War, right on the street, where the old arcade used to be. She had her little rummage sale. She'd go all the time. She'd just thrift store along. Didn't have to.
Right.
Okay, but she did.
She enjoyed it.
And I remember what she said was what they told us when Papa wanted to marry her. She said, "You bring your payday every week.
Right.
And when you got enough to furnish the house, we'll get married."
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I haven't heard that.
He did. He brought his payday every week.
Really?
And when he had enough to buy the furniture for the house, she said, "Okay, now we'll get married."
Is that right?
She wasn't going to marry him broke, with no furniture, no house. That's the way she was.
That's all right.
She was funny.
Yes.
About stuff, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She called me Johnny.
Right.
She always called me Johnny.
Which made all of us call you Johnny.
She
we all called you Johnny.
She'd talk to me.
Yeah.
And when I go over and sit down, she'd sit down and talk to me all the time. And but I remember a lot of that stuff about her. I remember her cooking.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I'm fixing dinner at the house and everybody comes and just comes in, sits down, and says, "When's it going to be ready?" I think about how the times that I just went in and sat down at her house.
Yeah.
And when's it going to be ready?
Right.
and I one trait that I've got from her, and I'm probably the only one, well, not frugal, but her is she when she cooked in the oven, she's pulled her chair over there and sit.
Oh, yeah.
Because she didn't want to burn the biscuits.
Right.
And I find myself standing right in front of the oven.
Right.
Because I said, I don't know how long it's supposed to cook. You know, I just put it in the oven and set it at 350.
Right.
But I stand there and I watch them biscuits and make sure I don't want to burn the biscuits.
Yeah.
But I see myself, I said, just like my grandma,
Yeah. I'm
standing there. But she wouldn't want to burn. And Papa would do the salads on Sunday
Right.
at the farm.
Yep.
And she'd cook everything else and we'd eat up there. What a memory, man.
Oh, man. Those are times that you just, I mean, that's just,
What do you remember about Sunday dinners?
well, it was good conversation. It was our whole family. I thought about this quite a bit. It was a lot of humor, you know, and I think that comes from joy, right? That peace in our lives. But anyway, it's a lot of humor. You know, your dad and Papa. I mean, everyone. You know, had a lot of humor. So, but you know, those Sunday dinners were just something else. You know, just it was. I guess you know. I didn't have a lot of conversation, but just being involved and being around it, you know, are things that stick with me.
Yeah.
You know, you know.
That's cool. I think about this. You know, I remember my mom. She had to. She was talking about going to the house after she married Dad. You know, and it was her husband. Right. You know, and they'd get in a big wrestling match, her and him and Dickie or Harold and them, and she'd say, "That's my husband wrestling in the floor." She said, "You talk about that." Then then Mama would take a broom to him,
right.
You know, while they were wrestling, and said. One of them bring a girlfriend home, and Dad would get out the guitar and start singing, you know, something about something.
Mom said he'd make up those songs about you, make you so mad. He said constantly. But you know, I remember, you know, Papa would quote poems and sing songs and stuff.
I forgot about that.
Pop right up, you know, he would. Yeah. And can play any instrument they handed to him. He played, you know, Harold could play, Dickie could play too. You know, your dad, they could play. Leonard was exceptional musician, you know. They all loved it.
How come we can't play?
I'm still trying. How about that? I can't play. I'm still trying. You know,
I could almost play a harmonica. That's about it.
How old was Zach? 40? Is Zach 40 yet? Anyway, but I mean, I remember when he was little, he'd pick up anything and play it by ear. And I'd give him my guitar. I said, "Here, tune this." Yeah. Then he'd tune my guitar because I can't hear it.
I've got 2 guitars.
Do you?
I took a lesson or 2.
Did you?
At the School of Rock in Myrtle Beach.
Really?
I learned how to strum. That's a whole thing.
Yes.
Strumming is not up and down.
Right.
It's like down, down, up, up,
right.
down, up.
Right.
Didn't know that.
Different stuff, right?
They showed me that. I strummed the fire out of that guitar. And I got 2 guitars, a tuner. I've gave away a couple guitars because I've had more than 2. I felt guilty. And Janice the other day was cleaning out a storage bag and she pulled out my guitar and had it laying out there. "What do you want me to do this?" I said, "You put that back. I'm going to take a lesson."
I'm gonna play it.
Now you can learn off the internet.
I
said, "I believe I'm going to learn." I keep thinking, but I can't fit it in my schedule, but I'd like to learn how to play.
Right.
Well, you remember Mark Stutzo?
Uh-huh.
You know, he was teaching me how to play the drums.
Okay.
You know, and have you ever seen any of his things on YouTube?
No, I haven't.
Oh man,
right?
Put his name in there.
Okay, I will.
Mark is an unreal musician.
Yes.
And he can sing, but he's got things on YouTube that are just unreal. I mean, he went through a big health scare a while back, but he's a lot better.
I remember seeing something.
He's
about
back with his band, with the band and stuff. But look on YouTube under Mark Stutzo.
Okay.
And you'll pull some of his music up.
Awesome.
It's just unreal.
Really?
He could play. Those drums, man. He just sings and he's got songs he's wrote.
Right.
And things like he's really great at that stuff.
That's
I think
cool.
about those.
Yeah.
I think about those things. The people in our life that are path across.
Right.
And I can remember I remember him and his dad and his brother had the two stores there side by side in Ward.
Yeah.
Jimmy Joe's was more of a grocery store.
Okay.
Jimmy's was a grocery store and a beer joint.
Okay. Oh.
And we used to go in there and get out stuff all the time, but he had the beer joint in there. He had a regular old fashioned type of beer joint.
Okay.
And you went through the beer joint to get to the groceries in the back.
Right.
And the people could charge there all the time.
Right.
And so Jim
For
Shelton.
young kids, what's a beer joint?
A beer joint is it's a way back version of Applebee's. Like where you go in and sit up at the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like a darker,
Right. Yeah.
dirtier version.
Young kids don't even know what
Oh,
yellow
no.
pages
There
are.
is-
They don't know yellow.
You could slap them in the head with it and they wouldn't know what it was.
Collect call.
If you could say, I'm going to slap you with a phone book. They say, what kind of app is that?
Right.
So anyway, you go Jimmy's.
Right.
So Jim Shelton, his mom had a charge account there
Okay.
at Jimmy's.
Right.
And she's a religious woman, but it's a charge account at the beer joint because you get groceries there.
Uh-huh.
We would go in there and charge stuff.
Right.
Like Three Musketeer bars and them little straws that had the sugar in them,
Yeah.
and a six-pack of Pepsis. And we'd find some place to sit down. We'd drink them Pepsis. Jim knew he's going to get beat. He knew he's going to get beat.
Did he?
Well, we'd charge that stuff, and she'd swear, make him swear he'd never do it again, and he'd have to go home and beat him. We'd drink those Pepsis out of them bottles till we almost die. We'd find us someplace and eat those and candy bars, And Jimmy would let him have and charge them, I can remember that.
Well, up Warrior Mines, where we grew up, Lucky Campbell was my neighbor,
Okay.
So Lucky would go to the store, and he'd put it on Mommy's count.
Okay.
And I said, "What is that?" He said, "I put it on Mommy's count." I said, "Well, that's pretty cool." I went home. I said, "Mom, can we get a count?" She said, "Absolutely not." I said, "Well, okay." Lucky get me something to drink on Mommy's count. Mommy's count. Mommy's count. I didn't know what it was, Just a little boy.
What was that store up the holler there up on the corner where the post office was?
That was Effie's.
Effie's?
Yeah.
Right.
Effie ran it.
All right. Did
Otis
Effie
Hicks.
live over in front? Who lived right across the street over there in front of that? Was that where did Effie live at?
She lived upstairs.
Upstairs.
Yeah,
Okay.
above it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was Cole's store for a long time. Like when your dad was growing up there,
Okay.
it was Mr. Cole and his wife ran it.
All right. Bonnie. Who had
Bonnie Evans lived on the corner.
Right.
Yeah, that's right across the highway, the
Right.
first house.
I think Bonnie somehow had a trailer in Myrtle Beach growing up. And we were always astounded because, it's Myrtle Beach. We didn't know what Myrtle Beach was.
Right.
But, we were fascinated because we thought they had to be rich because they had and if you come back and said, you got a house trailer? Myrtle Beach. We would always talk about that,
Now, didn't she work for the Hales down closer to at the little store over
I
there?
thought that was their store.
Yeah, I did too for a long time.
Bonnie
Yeah.
and them, I can't remember, but they had that. We were just always fascinated by that.
Okay.
And man, there's stuff like that growing up that you think about, know. And I know we shared this before. We talked about going like, what was his name downtown? They had the typewriter place up across from my apartments. He's had the place across the street. Well, anyway,
Mr. Powers,
Powers,
right? Yeah.
Clarence Powers.
Yeah, Clarence, yes.
Clarence Powers.
Yeah.
Clarence would drink a little bit,
Right.
He'd drink a little bit, but he would go to the West Virginia State Fair every year.
Right.
And he would come back. And he had his poster in the window, West Virginia State Fair. And when he would come back, we would all go in and sit down. he'd get to drinking a little bit, and he would tell us about that fire.
Is that right?
Oh, man. We couldn't believe anybody would leave war and go all the way to the West Virginia State Fair. You know what I mean? This is why I travel so much, okay? But I think, man, he would tell us about the fire. They said they got horses that race in a circle. And they got champion pigs, and he would tell us all about it.
Right?
We said, tell us more, tell us more. And then he finally jump on us and cuss us and make us leave. And we would come down there and we would knock on the door on the way home from school.
Right.
Go in there. Would you tell us about that fire? I can remember that like it's yesterday. Sitting in there, and I could smell the liquor on his breath. He'd get to drinking a little bit.
That's cool.
He tell us all. He had that poster in the window.
Yeah.
West Virginia State Fair. And had the dates.
Right.
We thought, man, they have it every year. That's pretty good, ain't it? Those things mold you, man.
I know.
Yeah.
What about Fraser Boyd's Volkswagens?
That was fascinating.
Wasn't that something? I was telling the boys about that a while back. I said, man, you never seen so many Volkswagens. You know, Fraser worked on them too.
Yeah.
He had them running.
He was the one that done it.
Yeah. So they were everywhere out there in that parking lot, in that building, weren't they?
Yeah.
On that little corner, you know. It was a lot bigger when we were kids, wasn't it?
Yeah, it seemed
wasn't it
like
a lot
it
bigger?
was.
Yeah, a lot bigger. But
I think about all that stuff up as you growing up that molds you and shapes your attitude and things like that. You remember Western Auto downtown?
Yeah, Johnny Allen.
Johnny Allen.
Johnny,
Johnny Allen's dad, we would come home from school and he had a unicycle he got in. And he would tell us every day, I'll give it to you if you can ride it.
Right.
And I'm telling you, my back end hit the floor so many times. I'd sit on that thing and get the sticks, get ready. He'd get on and get ready, and he'd be standing there watching us. That was a little bit of child abuse.
Right.
I think I was bullied again. And wham, you'd hit the floor.
Right.
Wham, that unicycle come out from under you.
Right.
And I mean, it would almost kill you. He'd laugh, come back tomorrow. He said, if you can ride it, I'll give it to you. Shoot. Oh, man.
I love it. I love it.
All right, when we think about family, let's think about traditions.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
right.
Do you have any traditions?
Do I have any traditions
family
today?
Traditions today?
Today, it's still getting, I think traditional is getting with family during, those seasonal times, Christmas, Thanksgiving, July the 4th, that's the only tradition, that, like you've been saying all along, those are things that shaped us and molded us, those times together, we were looking at a picture last night. You were sitting in a chair, and Lynn was sitting on the arm of the chair. I was on the floor, like on my knees or something, to the front. Theta was beside me, and Tammy was just probably 2 or 3 sitting up there. Mark was beside her, and David was up there. I think David was in that picture. I believe David, yeah. Maybe not, but anyway, Kathy was over in the corner too. But we was arguing about where it was.
Yeah.
Okay. We kind of got it figured out, though. It was in Mama and Papa's house up at Rift. It was the first Christmas they had. There was a Christmas tree beside us.
Okay.
It was the first Christmas they ever had there.
Huh.
You're sitting in a chair, and we're all around. We're all in front of you. Yeah, I'll send the picture to you.
Send the picture
because
to me.
Here's the thing. You remember Papa built that addition on that house. To the side, which became the living room. We were at the fireplace.
Oh yeah, the addition.
Okay,
yeah.
So, but the wall, this picture is taken before that's ever done.
Okay.
All right. So there's a window there, and you can barely see the corner of the front door, just a slither of the front door.
Yeah.
So that was in that. The big console TV was sitting there. You can see it. It's a pretty neat picture.
I got video when Morgan was a baby.
Uh-huh.
So that had to be, I don't know how many years ago. She was a little girl, not talking good, long black hair and a little red frilly dress.
Right.
So that had to be, I don't know how old Morgan is. I don't know how old she is. I don't know. Anyway, it had to be 40 years
Well, she's
ago.
more than that.
35, 40 years ago that I've got video.
More than 40.
What'd you?
38.
38. So it had to be. It had to be
38.
So it had to be a long time ago, man. I got video of it up there. The cool thing too
She's
on
40.
She's 40. but she was about 2.
Oh,
She was
okay.
about
So-
2
so-
then.
so
Okay, so
then
you're
about
saying it was 38 years ago. Okay, I got you.
all
Now
right.
we're with you. All right, yeah.
So 38 years
We
ago.
don't count so well. Today. All right.
You know, we talked about not going to school. So
We didn't like it.
I got video of that, you know, and there in the Christmas tree and stuff, and
Uh-huh.
her walking around talking and Papa singing.
Yeah.
And I've got some video somewhere of all that kind of thing. But that's
Yeah.
But you know what I found about video and pictures and stuff like that? You know, I think people nowadays take too many, and they're not that important. I mean, Chris gets a book every month on the baby if she takes pictures of him all along. It's all good, but I don't know how much people look back on those things. You know, we look back on them 1 or 2 pictures.
Yeah.
But
I think differently.
Okay.
I love pictures, you know, and that's one thing I admire about Kelsey, Morgan, and you. You guys have always. Kelsey's got tremendous pictures, you know.
she ain't got no baby book. But
Yeah.
I need to see if AI will make her one.
Yes.
We got them on the other kids. Kelsey didn't get no baby book. And the other night she brought that up.
Well,
I didn't even have a baby book.
she was mistreated.
Yeah.
Y'all really were mistreated, you know. She was left to raise herself.
Half a baby book.
Morgan had half.
Colson had no.
Colson had
Colson did
the
have
other 2 kids. We didn't have baby books on the other ones, okay?
Right, yeah.
And-
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
You had a baby book?
We had no baby book. I don't know what you mean by that. But anyway.
I had a baby book that had my mom was extravagant. I'm gonna get my footprints in it and all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
But Virgie up the road up there used to give me a silver dollar every year when I was little.
Uh-huh.
A silver dollar, and Mom would paste it in the baby book.
Right.
But I had these northern cousins that come in one time, and they stole every one of the silver dollars out of the rascals. Stole them right out of the baby book. They got the place in the baby book where it's gone.
Really?
Stole them silver dollars.
How about that?
I don't know. You know, let's think about cousins growing up.
Yeah, right.
We, it seemed like we always almost killed each other, didn't we? It
seems
was
like
things that
yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
You remember when we was pulling Mark that time on that hood of that car and
It was
almost cut his
Michael.
head?
It was
Michael?
Michael. It was
Almost cut his head off?
I remember real well.
We were pulling him on a four-wheeler.
Was it a
Four-wheelers.
four-wheeler? Yeah, we had
Four-wheelers
was it
back
four-wheeler?
then.
We had a four-wheeler.
Four-wheeler, and we were pulling, we had a chain or a rope or something hooked to a hood of a car, and it was a grassy
The
field.
car hood was
Upside
upside
down.
down. It still had the
Right.
the arms
Arms
on
on
it,
it.
whatever
Yeah,
they call it.
yeah,
The
the
post, the
post.
called post, yes, on the door.
And
on
we
the
were
hood.
dragging it through the grass
Just dragging him
at a
around.
high rate of speed, and just trying. And he fell off the front, and it cut him around the neck.
Just it hit his skin just enough,
Right.
just enough. It hit him just enough.
It's bad.
And I remember, I remember, John, me and you just looked at each other, both our eyes.
He's gonna die.
We just looked at each other. I said, gee, we almost killed him. I said he would be dead. We almost cut his head off.
But it was important. You always done things to the very limit, to where you would almost get killed. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it was sliding down a hill on a piece of cardboard, or if it was coming down a big mountain in the snow on a tabletop.
You
It
remember
didn't
the
matter.
smokehouse that was behind my mom and papa's house when they first moved up? There was a smokehouse.
No,
There was
I
a
don't
root
remember.
cellar behind the house, and then above it, over top it, was the smokehouse. It was an old wood.
Up Warrior?
No, up Rift. You don't
No, I
remember?
don't remember
Right
that.
behind the house. So anyway,
I remember like a place where you kept canned stuff.
yeah, little root cellar.
Okay, yeah,
But
I
over
remember
top
root
of
cellar.
it was the
Okay.
smokehouse.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so there was no porch on it. There was like some rocks or some blocks stood up, and you opened the door and then walked up the blocks. Well, I would be inside it because we would play in it,
Right.
and I'd watch to see who was getting on the steps to come to the block, and I'd push the door open and go sit and hit them, knock them back down the hill. It was really a lot of fun to do Mark Akers that way. Mom all scolded me. She caught me one time. She pointed her finger at me. She pointed her finger at me, and she said, "You did that on purpose." And I didn't. It was an accident. I didn't know he was out there. But yeah, you had to be good to your cousins.
Yeah,
that way.
you got to do stuff to your cousins. See, nowadays, like where they live apart, they don't get to do stuff.
Oh, I know.
They don't get to
Right.
abuse them,
Yeah.
which builds character.
But the sad thing is they'll never miss it. They don't know
No,
that
they
they're.
don't
That's
know
the
it.
sad. I mean, we had
together.
a tremendous growing up having family. You know, people call it a clique today, but it's not. I mean, that's the way families
We had a
were
tribe.
then. Yeah, we were, but you know,
Yeah.
it was our cousins and uncles. Our cousins are what molded us, really. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But just they were our friends.
Yeah.
You know, Morgan said one time when JP was real little, and him and Caleb, you know, they were always just tight. And I said something about, man, that they're really good family. She said, yeah, cousins are best friends for life.
Yeah.
And I said, that's exactly right, Morgan.
I think
love
you
it.
think about that now too. You know, we got cousins that we can talk to that we don't get, like even with Matthew, we don't get to sit down with him, but he calls us up and it's like there's nothing changed,
Right.
Or other
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes, right.
Or I've got an older cousin, Lynn, who retired the other day. You know, 'cause she's a lot older than me.
I retired too.
Yeah. All these people
I'm
have retired.
semi-retired.
Yeah.
That's what I told somebody.
Somebody-
I'm semi-retired. I said, because if you call me wanting something, I may be able to make it. I don't know.
Right.
I'm semi-retired.
Yeah. You know, I had a problem when people ask me what I do for a living.
It's none of your business. Can't I tell you?
It is-
You won't like what the outcome.
I went to the class reunion the other day, and we was all talking, and somebody said, "John, what do you do?" I said, "Ooh, don't know. I don't really." I said, "I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what I do." Yeah, but I'm being honest.
I'll get back to you.
I don't know.
I'll get
I
back
don't
to you.
know.
I'll get back to you.
I do get a check on the 16th.
Right.
But I'm not sure, you know. I'll tell you what I can do about anything. That's what I said. I can do anything. What am I doing? Don't really know.
Don't know, right.
I don't know. I think about that a lot. All right, let's talk about this. Talk about passions in our life, things that make you passionate, because I think that gets missing sometimes. I went through stages in my life that I was not passionate about anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
You know, I found myself from like thing to thing that I was doing, and then I found myself not as passionate. And I think we should be passionate about some things, but we do have transitions between passions. There's transition time.
Yes, right.
And we need to know that,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
and you
If
know,
you talk about just doing things, you know, the one time I had a passion for horses.
right.
You know, and I still like and enjoy horses, but
Right.
I don't have the passion for it. You know, I guess now it's more of a today, it's more a passion for what I can create or accomplish. How about that? You know, if that makes sense. what I
It's
can-
good, but it's not really real. Okay?
Not really
it's
real.
not really a passion.
Okay.
Okay? I mean, what I see as a passion, and we'll figure out what the real definition of a passion is, but a passion is something that you're excited in such a point that to create, I don't know. I mean, like,
Okay.
say you love growing flowers.
Okay.
And you seem pretty passionate about that. When